Let me also, before I start my remarks, wish due to Commander Justin Naldoni, I wish him the best of luck. He's been an extraordinary representative and liaison from the Coast Guard. He has represented you well, Admiral Lunde, and before that, Commandant Fagan. He has always demonstrated the highest standards of professionalism. He has a great sense of humor, a little serious sometimes, but so I just want to wish you the best, Justin, and congratulations on your promotion to captain coming up, I believe, in a week or so. So thank you for your service. And I also want to recognize Admiral Lunde is a very smart guy. Today he brought his lovely wife, which with him to join us today, which makes it hard for us to ask him even harder questions. But I'm going to do my best to ask him hard questions nonetheless. Welcome. Good morning, and thank you, Mr. Chair, for calling this hearing today. Welcome, Admiral Lunde, and congratulations on your nomination for Commandant. One thing that's great about this subcommittee is that we're all on the same page on a very important issue: supporting the United States Coast Guard. There is no organization like it in the world. The service members are top-notch, and since 1790, our country is safer because of their service. I also agree with Secretary Noem when she said that the Coast Guard has been neglected and under-resourced for far too long. Unfortunately, when I look at the budget, this is another case of watch what I say, not what I do. The overall funding is not as exciting as one would hope. It does not account for increasing the size of the service. It does not account for taking on new missions like those associated with the Arctic Security Cutter. And most importantly, it reverses course on recapitalizing the Coast Guard's shoreside infrastructure. The Government's Accountability Office recently issued a report that found the Coast Guard $7 billion estimate for the shoreside infrastructure backlog is actually much higher. Over 200 projects to date still have no cost estimates, and none have been adjusted for inflation. The shoreside infrastructure backlog directly impacts coasties and their families. This is real world stuff. In my district, a member of the Coast Guard recently fell through the floor of the Coast Guard's housing as they were taking a shower because the persistent moisture and mold rotted the floor. And I have brought this to the Coast Guard's attention, and I hope to hear a report about all the things that are being done regarding those items that I have pointed out regarding housing in my district. We must do better because this is completely unacceptable. What is in the administration's first transformational budget for the Coast Guard infrastructure, you may ask? A cut of 90%. A scant $21 million to address a more than $7 billion backlog. Budgets demonstrate values and priorities. What are this secretary's priorities? Well, we know that she is planning to follow the president's lead in obtaining not one, but two Gulfstream 5 jets to accommodate her travel at a cost of upward of $54 million. That's 2.5 times the entire shoreside infrastructure budget for the Coast Guard. Budgets show priorities. Talk about fraud, waste, and abuse. Fortunately, I believe that my colleagues on this subcommittee share my interest in providing for service members, and I will continue to work across the aisle to ensure Congress provides prudent, robust investments in the Coast Guard. Another place where I am certainly on the same page with my colleagues, and I agree with, is the importance of the Coast Guard's role in law enforcement. The first step is enforcing the law and following the law. Unfortunately, just last week, the service sent us a letter saying that they have zero intention of following a law that is instrumental to growing the Coast Guard. Why? Because it conflicts with an executive order. I know that Admiral Lunde is an attorney, so I look forward to hearing a legal justification for that decision. Does executive order trump the law? Or is the law supersede of an executive order? I've always been and continue to be a champion for fully funding the Coast Guard at a level commensurate with their needs and their service to the country. To be clear, Congress and every president for the past 20 years has failed to do this. Admiral Fagan boldly stated that the Coast Guard is a $20 billion service and deserves to be funded as such. Despite their stated interest in reviving and growing the service, I am concerned that this administration's actions show that they do not agree with Admiral Fagan's assessment. While the prospect of funding through reconciliation is welcome news, it still falls short and does not provide the long-term and predictable funding the Coast Guard needs. We must do better. Congress and Coast Guard leadership owe it to the Coasties who serve this country to deliver on these promises. With that, I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Gentleman yields. I now recognize the